Welcome to the Brilliantly Sexy Show with Devina Kaur. Our intention is to inspire, awaken and create global leaders using the Sexy Brilliant philosophy. Discover sacred wisdom and the benefits of self-leadership with your host, author of Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious, and founder of Sexy Brilliant Global Revolution, Devina Kaur.
Namaste. Hi, everybody. Bonjour. Welcome to your weekly show with our guest today, Mallika Dinesh, who's joining us all the way from Mexico. And I want to know where you guys are from. There is so much happening in the world. It's like it's hard to keep up with all the changing energies, the changing information. But we are doing our best to stay on our purpose. Mallika is joining me from Mexico, of course. So we're going to be talking about spiritual bypassing. First of all, I have no idea what that means. Mallika, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about what this topic means.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Well, I guess hi, Santosh Kumar. Hi. Base of your question lies who I am and what I do. So I'm born and raised in India, like you, and my mom is from South India and my father is from Maharashtra. And since a young age, in our tradition, we're exposed to a lot of consciousness raising practices, and everything that we do is given so much detail. Hi, guys. And I guess since a young age, I always had this clash of, well, if our purpose is to serve life, then why is it that there are life alienating beliefs or people or behaviors? Why are we not living in this golden age right now? If this is our ancestors, this is our lineage there right now. And that's what led me down the rabbit hole to this concept called spiritual bypass, which we just kind of do this, right? Simple terms. Whenever you start to do this, you're spiritual bypassing.
So what is this, like the physical idea of putting your hands over your eyes? What does that mean symbolically, but also energetically? What is that, Mallika?
You give consent to pull over a veil on your eyes. You say yes, yes, I know this is my divine purpose. This is my right. This is why I came here. But still, because it's okay. We're all trying to meet our needs. There's no guilt or shame. But some need for survival or maybe some kind of pleasure seeking, the two base emotions, and guilt. These two emotions that lock us in the two lower frequencies. Motivate us to say yes. Okay, I'll bite the bill, or I'll give up my sovereignty, basically.
So guys, everybody who's watching this show, what is happening is every time I'm putting your comments here, we're losing Mallika's voice. So we're gonna stick to the show today and then come back and do shout outs later. Okay. So Mallika, please go ahead and continue your thought process. We love where you're going and we love what you have to share with us and teach us. And you are also a teacher. You run a nonprofit foundation, a school as well, in Mexico, right? How did you end up in Mexico of all places?
So when I left, went to South America, and I went to the Andes Mountains in Peru, and I stayed with the family. And that's when I started to understand. It seemed like, we were from different places, but we look like each other. Many of our mannerisms are the same. Both
Mm.
have rich ancestral traditions. The indigenous tradition is very sacred. So I started to make these parallels. And you know how it is in India right now. I mean, let's be real. To even want to be independent, like, is very, I mean, it's complicated, not without its reasons and everything. So when it came time, for whatever reason, for me to leave, I picked this place because it's what resonated. I guess it's what feels most like home.
Nice. Okay. Okay, good.
And school that I just invite your viewers. Our first month is free for everyone. And we'll be starting Saturday, May 1st with yoga, Vedic chanting, devotional music, and Wadli tribal art. So I guess this is our way of providing a solution to that. Is okay,
Mhm.
let's give value to what is ours and
Mhm.
what connects us with the divine. And we're going to approach everything through a non dogmatic scientific lens. And only if it has utility to the human will adopt it. If not, it's discarded. So that's the base for this. And since it's free, I'd like, take advantage.
Take
That
advantage, guys. Yeah, make sure that you connect with Mallika. And I want to give a shout out to Santos Bonacci. That's where I came across Mallika's work because Mallika is a student of Santos, just like I'm a student of Santos. And if you guys don't know who Santos Bonacci is, stop this video, check out Santos Bonacci, the Universal Truth School, on YouTube, of course, on the website as well. And the wisdom that we have there is, I've never seen that wisdom anywhere else. Mallika, so tell us a little bit about, the spiritual bypassing, cultural appropriation, and what it means, and, what have you discovered? Help us understand, teach us something.
Okay, with pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for the stage. So, what I found out is that our ancestral wisdom, it has been minimized and it's been given either, sometimes you'll see it on the London Fashion Week runway, it's a little print here, a little touch there. It's exoticized, almost prostituted, right? I could say
Mm.
even raped. And I was wondering why. What's the advantage? And that's when I went, I'd like to share this screen. Da, da, da. And I came back to one of the most demonized concepts in our culture, which has been demonized from the culture, which is the caste system, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they say, oh, it's a caste system, but varna means occupation. So once you minimize something that is the base of a culture, then it's easy that they will take something else and say, okay, this is better. We're going to follow this. But I found that this structure is not to be taken literally. It's a hierarchy. And I
Mm-hmm.
found that somewhere, around 1500 by Santos's calculation, is what happens is that the God, now, do you know God as Paramatma, right? One soul, prime creator, love. If we say that's God here, that's up here, and from there all the demigods are coming, and then from that we come. So that love, creative energy, instead of worshiping that as God, somewhere down the line, we started to worship the God of money. Everyone, Hindus included, everybody today. Everybody who we engage in the capitalistic system using money, anyone that has a birth certificate, I should say, is paying homage to this God. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because if we don't clarify our concept of gods and who we are really worshiping with our action, we have to look at where the tax is going, where our dollars are going, because that's what represents our capacity. Our creative potential has been eliminated and given a dollar value. And since that's the value, we need to trace where that's going. And if it's going to corrupt corporations, then we're worshiping this God with action. Not like, oh, some symbolism, go to church and pray. No, we can track the dollars and cents, right? Discretionary spending budget, this, that, inequality. I really felt like I needed to understand this, especially when I went to the United States. I spent 8 years in the United States in college, in the academic system. And it was when I really started to wonder, why is it so extreme? Like, it doesn't need to be so extreme. We have enough food, we have enough water, we have enough space, we have enough money. So why does this exist? Because indirectly, we're paying homage to this deity. And I just wanted to quickly show another photo over here. And so at this bottom is the Shudra. This is you and me. This is the lowest part of the caste system.
So Mallika, just go back and tell us, the caste system is divided into how many sects?
Four.
Can you read them out for us, please?
So Brahmin, which is mostly associated with the priestly class, the scientific priestly class. Kshatriyas associated with the nobility, rulers, administrators, warriors. Vaishyas associated with the artisans and merchants, people who do trade and commerce. And Shudras are the manual laborers, but also farmers, people that are working the earth. And remember that this is inside everyone, because everybody has to clean a toilet at some point. Everybody has to get down on their knees and do something that is humbling. So we all start here.
Yeah, and you know, when we all eat as human beings, most of us eat food. Some of us may be breatharians, but when we eat food, aren't we supposed to be growing our own food? But if you are characterizing us or giving us this caste system that the lowest of the low is growing your own food, what does that mean? What does that signify, Mallika?
It means that they are the roots. That is the base of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it also means, in this image over here, you can see they're carrying everything. This is what money is based on. So this is where I'd like to introduce the concept of money as replacing creativity. So that's where the God money replaces God love. Because all of these people's creative potential, how much, if they were a cow, how much stock, how much meat, how much cheese, and how much milk they will give in a lifetime is quantified into this thing, money, at birth.
So the images of about 100 people bending down, and there's a monopoly game where the bankers are sitting around the board and looking at the money, right? So significantly, it's like that most of us are carrying the weight of these elites and people in power, right, Mallika?
Yes. So here is where I'll explain exactly how that happens. So when you are born and you register, now break down that word. Regus means king in Latin, and tration, tra means tribute. You're paying tribute to the king. Which king? The kings and queens are the principal shareholders of the corporation, which is known as the crown. So you are paying tribute. Look on your birth certificate. On mine, it says Municipal Corporation of Mumbai. It doesn't say city. It says Municipal Corporation of Mumbai. You agree to pledge your creative potential to the king, which is where the corporation of the crown. Under the crown come the banks. You agree to put all of your creative potential in their possession. Why? Because you're not strong enough. You're not sane enough. You can't manage it. You can't keep your justice. You can't keep the peace. So you do it for me. That's the agreement that each one of us make at birth when we're registered with a birth certificate. And the parents don't know because it's normalized. And the International Monetary Fund and these kind of organizations, they'll penalize countries. They won't issue loans if they're not registering at birth. So they, most of the global organizations demand registration of babies. Why? Because in the US Constitution, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Within the US Constitution, we see that there is a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This means that when you are born, you have right to land, right to water, right to right to all the elements, right to food, right to land, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So each one of us has a trust of that value in the United States Treasury Department. Why? Because whole world operates in dollars. That's the currency. In the most widely used currency is dollars. So look at it. They're all corporations. There's one trust. That's how the monopoly game is played. This trust is called Unum Sanctum. This trust is located within the Vatican. There, who are the principal shareholders? They're the priests, the Pope. So they have replaced the Brahmins. You see that? Instead of having love energy and spiritual masters that are actually guided by love energy to hold that vibration, we have principal shareholders in a corporation called Unum Sanctum. Mm-hmm. Unum Sanctum owns every person's creative potential in terms of money. They have monetized it. That's how money is created. It is created on you. That's why it's called stock. That's why there's this thing called a trust, because you are trusting them to be your trustee, to take care of you, to administer your resources. Mm-hmm. So that's where they come in. They have replaced the Brahmins. Mm-hmm. God money has replaced God love. Priests and Pope of Vatican have replaced the Brahmins. Next comes the nobility. All the countries that have kings and queens, very few, mostly located in Europe, mostly the UK, is a big player. They come in the second corporation. They have replaced the Kshatriyas, the nobility. I don't know what it looks like, but maybe there was a time when the people elected their king, when there was noble people of that stature. I don't know, when Ram and these kind of incarnations come to earth. Maybe there was a Jesus-like figure and people said, yes, we trust you to be our king. But definitely, I don't think we trust these people to keep paying them tribute from our trust. So based on these trusts, there's day trading in the stock exchange. If anybody wants to find out the value of what they were at birth, there is a value on your birth certificate, especially if you're a U.S. citizen, it's easy, or a Canadian citizen, there's a number. Look up this number on the stock exchange. It has a value. And it's associated with an account called a Treasury Direct Account, where that is your money. And they have it because you vote, you go to work, you pay your taxes.
You do your census. All of this.
Comply.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We make licenses, we go to school, we get degrees. All of these arms come in the Vaishya branch, the merchant branch. Commerce. It's all business. When you go to court, when you go to school, when you go, when you're stopped by the police, law enforcement. All of these branches are doing business. Their goal is, that's the root of all the isms, because somewhere, say whichever culture that we come from, somewhere down the line, we started paying homage to the god money. Somehow, we started paying homage to the god money. That's where the separation comes, because we separated ourselves from our own divine right, from where we came from. We said, okay, I'll pay tribute to this king. I'll worship the god money. That's where we wouldn't be fighting each other if everybody had access to all that was rightfully ours. So what their job is to do, look at it simply as just business. The school system is to generate profit. It's not to educate young people. There's a movie called Bad Education that really explains it.
Yeah, it's indoctrination. It's to our books have been changed, have been modified. What's the word, Mallika? Have been programmed so that we stop thinking for ourselves, So we start fighting about amongst each other. So we are so busy with this mall maya that we forget what the world outside is, and that we have that potential in the right hemisphere where our creativity lies to be the sexy, brilliant, divine creature that we are. Right, Mallika?
Yes.
So
We
Mallika,
start to hate ourselves. We say, I'm not worthy. So
yeah.
they
I don't have a nice car. I don't have a job that pays me $100,000. I don't have, a beautiful house. I am not worthy. We need to start changing our internal programming. And this is where it is, having that awareness that the system is broken, having the awareness that the establishment controls all of what we do, our decision making, our birth certification, our coming and going, now with the vaccination passport. It's a lot that's going on. So, Mallika, just to continue and finish your show, so what can we do to overcome everything that's going on in the world?
I think the only answer is to go back to the earth, to go back to the ways of our intelligent ancestors,
Mm-hmm.
to remember the times in which we were abundant. Each one has this time in their culture. For us, it's very present. We grow up with it. I know other people in native traditions that grow up with it. I think for people like us is to truly embrace it, and what I'm doing, my part, I can tell my part is we have a food forest, which is where we're growing our own food. And we have a school where we're teaching this ancestral knowledge that we know will build skills, knowledge that helped me, knowledge that helps, people around you, and as free as possible. Enough of this racketeering, like $1,200 for an online course, whatever. Like trying not we have to engage in that, but like not too much, as much as possible without judgment, like start to separate ourselves from that. And I also have a restaurant, so I have a business. It's not like I don't have a business.
Mm-hmm.
But the purpose of that business is to keep the whole thing going, to keep it going. And we all know that there's a balance. See, what I discovered when I started to research is that there were some highly rich but very unfulfilled people out there. People that work inside these corporations, in the military, in the school system, in the police force, in NASA, in the government, all of these people that are working for the corporation and so, quote unquote, over $100,000, as you say, meet the standards of success. They're very unfulfilled. So even if one day we go down the line and we monetize ourselves to the point where we are so successful, I know that we're going to remain unfulfilled. So I'm focusing on fulfillment and I'm focusing on sustainability. And I would encourage everybody to do that in their own way. Grow your own food, produce your own things, become a producer, start to generate your own economy. I'm not saying stop using money, but maybe.
Yeah, it's right now it's hard not to use money, right? We need to pay for internet, we need to pay for electricity, we have bills to pay. But those of you who are here, pay attention to what Mallika is saying. Self-sustaining. Nobody's teaching this outside, right? And Mallika, there's something else that I talk about very often. It's not only do we need food, we also need fresh water, and we need good quality air. Right now, what's happening is our air is polluted because we are constantly sprayed by chemtrails. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about that. We're sprayed with aluminium. We're sprayed with, actually, we are sprayed with barium and aluminium, which stands for, the chemistry code for that is BANAL, which is BAAL. So,
Money.
which is the money, God money, right? So we are stopped from thinking for ourselves. And it's time that we kind of come back to our inner self, our true purpose. Who are you? Do you know yourself? Do you know your good side? And then do you know your not so good side? And then from there, can you practice radical self-acceptance? That's what it comes down to, Mallika, right?
Yeah.
Please go ahead. Yeah. I know you have more things to say, so I'll give it the floor to you.
Like, how do we embody that? In my opinion, what you said, the way to embody it is to understand that these people are just doing business. So everything is an offer. When you see a board in your municipality, it's an offer. The municipality as a corporation is making an offer to you about how it wants to use your resource. So we need to start understanding that we run the world, because without my birth certificate, there is no stock for you to get rich off of, and then racketeering, etc. All that is not. I run the show. You run the show.
I am a sovereign being. Start saying that to yourself. Start believing it. The words we use are very powerful. And, when we claim, I am sovereign, I am free, I am sexy, I am brilliant, we are reprogramming our brain to think like that. And, those of you who don't know this, Sexy Brilliant Nonprofit Foundation started because of me overcoming an addiction. So what Mallika is saying has a lot of merit to it. Mallika, you're very young, but I know there's more that you can share with us. So we'll try to wrap up the show in the next 5 minutes. The floor is back to you. Thank you.
I guess if there was a last thing that I want to say, the purpose of this message is to reinforce in terms of numbers, because there is a part of us that only understands clicks when numbers are shown. Mm-hmm. Each person when born is worth at least $2 million. That is your stock. When you go to prison, they get an additional bond. Each time you pay a mortgage, it's already paid from your account. How do they locate your account and get permission? When you give your name, social security, date of birth. This is how you're giving agreement. Your mortgage has already been paid. Your student loans have already been paid. Your credit card has already been paid. Your utility bill has already been paid. You're paying double. That's how much you already paid. So get it out of your mind that you owe anyone anything, because it's not true. And even though I don't have the legal framework right now, I'm learning. And when I approach life from this perspective, on their own, the path starts to open. It's not like someone told me, open a restaurant, grow food, and teach children. No. I started to believe in myself. Even though I didn't have all the variables, I said, no, if that's true, I'm this energy. I'm a sovereign being. All of these affirmations, if they're true, then it doesn't matter if the evidence isn't here right now. I would just encourage everybody to start to choose to believe it anyway, and the evidence will present itself to you as it has to me. So
beautiful, Mallika. Thank you so much. We'd like to invite you back to our show again, because you have a lot of wisdom, and we love what you're sharing. So thank you so much for that. I mean, I'm just blown away by all the information that you're sharing and how you're bringing everything together from the Eastern, the Western, Vatican Church, and so much more. So we're going to end the show, guys. We're going to pull the Sexy Brilliant cards. As you know, we do this every time we have a guest. So these are the Sexy Brilliant cards of empowerment, and let's see what message we get today.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, meditate, guys. If you have questions, this is the time to ask us. Okay, let's see. Ooh, I love this card. Can you see it? It says, take the sexy good and make it brilliantly better. Wow. We have one life to live. Let's choose to make it the best that it can be. There is good in everything. Be grateful for this moment, and more will venture your way. And let's keep those sexy, brilliant standards very high. Wow. And you know what? Like, if you have any expectations, have them from yourself. Know who you are, know all parts of yourself, and then practice radical self-acceptance. And very important is to unlearn everything that we know to be true. Right, Mallika?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The
The cup
program.
needs to be empty in order for it to be filled. We cannot fill a full cup.
Beautiful, Mallika. Thank you so much. And everybody, we adore you having you here. Stay on the line for a second.
Thanks for joining us on Brilliantly Sexy with Devina Kaur. We value your time immensely and appreciate your shares, comments, and feedback. Devina Kaur is the best-selling author of Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious, a spiritual self-help workbook. Your purchases and donations support the Sexy Brilliant Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to removing toxic shame. Please discover our fantastic behind-the-scenes content on sexybrilliant.org.
And guys, Mallika has a non-profit. Sorry, Mallika has a GoFundMe page that she's running where she's raising funds for her school. I have dropped the links in all the comments below, so make sure you check them out. And of course, Mallika, please connect with Mallika. She's on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube as well. She's doing a monthly series, a weekly series with Santos Bonacci. Make sure you check that out. And again, you know what? This piece, today's episode was a little bit of some of the things that we like to discover about ourselves, our living, our purpose. And next week we have Johan Tranga coming in from India, where he's going to be talking about what we can do to sustain for our own rights and create our own forest, create our own being. And this is important, that we all become free. We all live in abundance that we have access to. So thank you so much, guys, for watching and sharing this video. We love you. Say bye to Mallika. Bye. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.